Welcome to Digital Citizenship for grade 11. This first lesson will be about rights, remixes, and respect in regards to online creative work. Our essential question is going to be, what should you consider when you use other people's creative work? Two terms that students should be aware of are inspiration and appropriation. Inspiration is something that influences, propels, or inspires you to create something new. So, examples of inspiration might be you writing a song with the sound of a musician that you like, but with different melody and different lyrics altogether. Or writing a poem that's in a style that resembles that of another poem that you've read before, but this is about different content. Or a final example could be drawing a picture that's inspired by something you've read or a song that you've heard. Appropriation is different than inspiration. Appropriation is when somebody uses someone else's creative work to make something new, often without their permission. And the without their permission is the negative part to this. Using a song as a soundtrack to video that you have made is an example of appropriation. Posting someone else's thoughts on a blog or an online post, that is appropriation. Showing a clip from a movie in a video review of that movie is also appropriation, or copying a paragraph from a news story and using it in a report for school without citing the source and without getting permission is appropriation. Whenever somebody uses creative work that is made by somebody else, as opposed to just being inspired by it, they need to consider a lot of legal and ethical questions that follow as a result. One of those questions is copyright. Copyright are laws that protect ownership of and control over the work someone creates, requiring other people to get the creator's permission before they copy, share, or perform that work. Most creative work that's online, that's made by somebody else, is protected by copyright. And to use copyrighted work legally and ethically, people must observe and follow several rules. These rules include checking to see who owns that creative work, getting permission to use it, giving credit to the creator once you use it, and then, if necessary, buying it, and then, of course, always using it responsibly. Sometimes, though, it's legal to use other people's creative work under the principle of fair use. Fair use is the ability to use a small amount of someone's creative work without permission, but only in certain ways. Those ways include using a small amount, not the entire thing, reworking it and using the material in a different way from the original work and its purpose, adding new meaning to the material and making something new out of it, or using the material for something that does not give you profit. So using it for schoolwork, education, providing criticism or social commentary, news reporting, and comedy and parody. Those are all things that are meant to not generate profit, and so therefore they can be used for fair use. In the music industry, the difference between fair use, appropriation, has been a bit of a hot button topic. And it comes through with the examples of remixing, which is using an existing creative work and adding to it, rearranging it, or mixing it with other material to create something new, and sampling. Sampling is to use a small piece of an existing creative work, usually music, in creating a new work. For the longest time ever, but over the past several decades for sure, especially in hip hop and pop music, old songs have been repurposed, reused, lyrics, melodies, sounds have been used from one artist to another artist, from one generation to the next, and examples of remixing and sampling. And this brings positives and negatives. For the person who's the creator of that original sound, lyric, or whatever melody that was first used, when their work gets sampled or remixed, it gets greater exposure, and more people might hear it and might appreciate it and go back to that original creative work and want to purchase it or support it or become fans of it. And so there are positives to this. There's also negatives. The original creator might think that these remixes and samplings or new versions of their music are diluting their original product and its quality, or they're losing credit and money and financial gains by having somebody else take their idea and make a profit from it, while the original creator of that idea or sound does not benefit from it. So there are negatives and positives to this for people in the music industry. The important thing here is that copyright laws, things that are designed to prevent plagiarism and stealing of creative ideas, exist to protect these artists, and they must be honored without, or else there'll be major legal ramifications. To wrap up this lesson, on a blank sheet of paper, write your name at the top, lesson number 1, and then answer these 3 questions. The first bullet point is the first question. Here's the second question, the second bullet point, and the third question is the third bullet point. Answer those to the best of your ability, and if you need to rewind this video and hear the answers again, go ahead. If you have any questions, ask Mr. Walker.